Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumptions or beliefs.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This
is
That Thing of Ours.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Thursday. There we go. 13th of February, 2025. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net. Uh-oh.
And if you haven't already, please give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash
go.
that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you're our family. We know you love to push buttons,
Oh, yeah.
so go over there and clickety-click away.
Clickety click. Okay, so apparently we're both stumbling all over ourselves tonight. What a great start.
Yeah, great.
Woohoo. It's the rain. Blame it on the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yo, F. Clint, what's going on, man?
Got Steph.
Hey, Steph.
She was second here tonight.
She was second.
Got Mike in the house.
Hey, Mike. What's going
Got
on?
Liberty in the house.
There's Liberty. What's going on?
Got Randoon in the house.
Hey, Randoon. Oh, people just showing up.
Got Carol in the house.
Hey, Carol.
Got Miss Dawn in the house.
Hey, Dawn.
It has been a long day, girl. Ugh.
Yeah, it's
It's-
Thursday acting as a Monday. I think that's a fair
Yeah.
assessment. I mean, the full moon is full moony.
Told the doctor off today.
She did tell a doctor off today.
It's just been.
Of course,
a
the doctor
shit day.
didn't seem to care too much about the humanity of the person there. So yeah, she, determined that she was worth more than whatever this person was willing to give.
We're glad to share the evening
Yeah.
with y'all as well.
We are glad to share the evening with all of you as well. All right, so we want to jump right in.
Yes, you ready?
All right, let's do this.
Can you read that, please?
Montage of Democrat Mockingbird media received their talking points today. Constitutional crisis.
Ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
That is a constitutional crisis.
Causing a constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
That this is a genuine constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
Crisis the country has faced.
Constitutional crisis.
Is calling it a constitutional crisis. We're heading on into a genuine constitutional crisis.
Witnessing is a constitutional crisis.
We are in a deep constitutional crisis. Trump has been.
Well, I think there are two issues at play. The constitutional crisis.
Thoughts?
So they're trying to solidify their base, is all that really is. I mean, we can see it, and we've been showing people all of the different montages of the press using the same words over and over again. They've got a little bit more slick about it over the years, but they're still going to do the same things. And whether or not they're being funded anymore is of no consequence, because they're still running things the way they know how. They're just not going to get all of the support that they used to before. So it's going to fall on more and more deaf ears each and every single day. So there's lots of reasons to be grateful for this. Okay, good. Keep playing your stupid game, because I've heard people talking about this specifically that it is waking them up. So they're seeing the same words over different media sources. They're seeing these kinds of videos as they scroll through whatever it is, because it's on all of the platforms. It's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's on everything. And so as people continue to see these kinds of things, it is continuing to wake people up. So again, each and every day, more people are waking up. And eventually we're going to get to that, 3 to 6% or whatever Q said, that just won't wake up. And then it will be, okay, well, now we can really focus on the people who need that help, because everybody else is woken up, because they keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And they're wondering why they're not getting different results. It's amazing, but it's a good thing that they just, are no better than robots.
Exactly. And it's like, wow, could you guys do anything? What's the word I'm looking for? Original, yeah.
Yeah.
Or are you really robots?
I mean, yes. Really. Hey, Ange.
Hey, Ange.
Thanks for coming back. Good to see you. Finally figured out a way around the app. Oh, Lord.
Oh, goodness.
Well, at least we're figuring out ways. Hey, Colleen.
Hey, Colleen.
Thanks
so
for
glad
joining.
you all are here.
Yeah, so glad everybody's here. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, the press is screwing up. That's what they do.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Because this is part 2.
Part 2.
Can you read that, please?
Caroline Levitt addresses the latest legacy media buzzwords. Constitutional crisis.
Let's listen.
Now, before I take questions, I would like to address an extremely dishonest narrative that we've seen emerging over the past few days. Many outlets in this room have been fear-mongering the American people into believing there is a constitutional crisis taking place here at the White House. I've been hearing those words a lot lately. But in fact, the real constitutional crisis is taking place within our judicial branch, where district court judges in liberal districts across the country are abusing their power to unilaterally block President Trump's basic executive authority. We believe these judges are acting as judicial activists rather than honest arbiters of the law. And they have issued at least 12 injunctions against this administration in the past 14 days, often without citing any evidence or grounds for their lawsuits. This is part of a larger concerted effort by Democrat activists and nothing more than the continuation of the weaponization of justice against President Trump. Quick news flash to these liberal judges who are supporting their obstructionist efforts: 77 million Americans voted to elect this president. And each injunction is an abuse of the rule of law and an attempt to thwart the will of the people. As the president clearly stated in the Oval Office yesterday, we will comply with the law in the courts, but we will also continue to seek every legal remedy to ultimately overturn these radical injunctions and ensure President Trump's policies can be enacted.
What?
All right. So the left is going to play the games. We know this. We expected this. They haven't stopped yet. But then again, the game isn't over. But that's coming soon. The Delta for that is on the 17th, I might add. February 17th, in which case it says game over. Also saw a meme. Going to go ahead and throw this information out there. They have to vote as per the publishing of the time of the meme was 30 hours, which would have put it on February 17th that they have to vote on Kash Patel, in which case that would certainly point to that Delta telling us something very significant that goes all the way back to February of 2017. But they are, again, going back to the present right now, as opposed to speculation on the future. What we're seeing is that President Trump's administration isn't going to take it the way they had to the previous administration that he was in. And the reason why is because he's filled it with a bunch more people who actually care about the Constitution more than anything else. And they can speak truth to the very corrupt individuals who have been trying to steal everything from us this entire time. So the good news is he doesn't have to take it sitting down like he did the last time. Now he's bringing it to them. That's why their attacks on everything that he's doing and anybody that he appoints is really just looking like the very corruption. They are showing their corruption. It is on full display at this point in time, because I have never heard a politician blatantly just support fraud, waste, and abuse. And not blatantly, but just out in the open supporting fraud, waste, and abuse. And they're doing that right now. Anyways, so Liberty says she is on fire. Don't piss her off. Boy, ain't that the truth. Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's not going to take any games. And she's empowered to be able to speak that truth. That is another thing that tells us, it's another one of those indicators that tells us that it's very different now than it has been at any point in time in the past. So,
Yeah.
So what do we got going on?
I glanced at Steph's comment. And I thought she said, "Where are you at, Angie?" But she said, "What are you on, Angie?" I think she's on Rumble.
Yeah, on the website itself.
Yeah, on the website.
Yeah, sometimes the website works a lot more cleanly.
A lot better than the app does.
On occasion.
On occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're working it on. They're working on it still.
They're you know what? For them being as young as they are, because I mean,
of
let's
an
be
organization,
honest,
of a company. Yeah.
They're doing great.
Oh, they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once they've got enough years under their belt, like YouTube, they'll blow YouTube out of the water.
Yeah.
So anyway, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
All right. Democrats used to, at least pretend to, love the idea of cutting government waste.
Let's listen.
They did. I remember these.
Look, it's Barry.
Yeah, Barry.
This report tells us how to cut waste, cut red tape, streamline the bureaucracy, change procurement rules, change the personnel rules, and create a government that works better and costs less.
I've read it, and where it says the president should, the president will.
Among the 800 recommendations, eliminating 12% of the federal workforce, merging some government agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, closing hundreds of government offices outside Washington.
From the day I took office, one of the commitments that I made to the American people was that we would do a better job here in Washington in rooting out wasteful spending. We thought that it was entirely appropriate for our governments and our agencies to try to root out waste, large and small, in a systematic way. It means cutting some programs that I think are worthy, but we may not be able to afford right now. A lot of the action is in Congress and legislative, but in the meantime, we don't need to wait for Congress in order to do something about wasteful spending that's out there. We haven't seen as much action out of Congress as we'd like, and that's why we launched on our own initiative the campaign Cut Waste. And we're going to keep on finding every possible way that we can do that, even if Congress is not active. There you go.
Thoughts. And that's probably because they're growing so fast, because people are just leaving the tube of you in droves.
It's happening based off of my understanding.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that was themselves, Clinton, Gore, and Obama themselves out there talking about how they were going to cut waste. Yet for some reason, everything grew significantly more.
Yeah.
And the people still loved him, despite the fact that he never did anything.
Never.
Of all of the promises that dude ever made. I don't know why.
He just
people
had a
loved
slick
him.
mouth.
He had a slick mouth and a supportive, well, Pravda. behind them, because apparently USAID was paying the BBC, they were paying Politico, they've been paying all these news outlets to push a narrative. And now they don't get that money anymore because it was found out in the government corruption. Surprise, surprise, as to why they chose not to go after any of the corruption, because they were the ones profiting off of the way the system was rigged. Well, now it's getting cleaned up and they're going to be found out, and they're going to regret going after a former president, because this president might just go after some former presidents on his own.
Yes.
Liberty says, I have to disagree. All Dems campaigned on cutting wasteful spending, but after elected, they never did. Yeah, Democrats, Republicans, I'd say so many of them. Some tried. Very few were able to get anything done, but yet here we are. We're actually seeing it happen right now, and that's what I'm focusing on. I don't care, because I know the government, everything that Doge finds is going to be pointing directly to those who have profited at all from the corruption that they were clearly supporting this entire time.
Exactly.
Hey, Mike, thanks for joining us, man.
Other part of Mike Squared.
Yep, Mike Squared's here now.
Exactly, Don. They are paying themselves.
Yeah.
Liberty says, Dems live by the motto, 1 for you, 3 for me.
At least.
At least, Liberty, at least.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
This woman.
Okay.
Can you read that, please?
Okay, well, at least it's not Kamala. Not that Maxine is much better, but
I
whatever.
know.
Anyways, Maxine Waters lies and lies until accidentally revealing the truth in her final 9 words.
Let's listen.
We should.
The people of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us.
Isn't that it? That in the end, that's what it really boils down to, is they don't know what all Elon Musk and President Trump have on them. Now, and she's been really good about that double speak. Oh, I misspoke, didn't mean to do that. And she normally, you know, the press covers that, but too many people are paying attention. There's too many conspiracy theorists out there now that are spreading the truth of what they're actually saying. And because of everything coming to light, even the people that are on the fence, you present this information to them and they're likely to believe it at this point in time, because they're at that point now. And I remember being at this point myself, where it's like, oh my God, it's absolutely everywhere. And it's been in our face this entire time. Yeah, I guess it's true. As you're basically drinking from a fire hose at this point in time is where I think so many people are at. And it's a beautiful thing. Exactly. Dawn, this is great. What they have on us, truth. The truth is coming out, and people are accepting it for a change. This is great. This is great. Steph says, oh my goodness, Julie has said that God was going to make them speak truth out of their mouths. Well, that's what they're doing.
Exactly.
I mean, they've been doing it this whole time too. Think about Bill Gates and we'll have to necessarily reduce the population.
Yes.
You know, they've been telling us the truth. Remember, that's kind of the karma. They feel that balances out the karma. We told you. You know, you chose not to do anything about it. It's on you, is how they sell it to themselves. It's not the best way to do it, but I mean, if they think that works, then good on them. And says she should be charged with inciting violence, and she's a repeat offender. I'm sure that she's going to have a significant number of charges against her, she being Maxine Waters. She has been wrapped up and tied deep in with all of this stuff. You can't tell me that she didn't know what was going on with the Diddy parties. She may not have been there, but it's kind of in her neck of the woods. And so I'm going to go ahead and say that she probably knew what was going on. And I bet you a connection will be made some way, somehow. It may be indirect, but a connection will be made. It's all happening. And this is the time that we can truly rejoice and have fun with this.
Yes. How about some Kelly?
We could use some Kelly.
Let's listen.
Yeah, let's listen.
Hey, Christian, it's not always easy giving your life to Jesus, is it? The Bible can be hard to understand at times, and the pastor's sermons don't always answer the questions we have in our mind. I want to share my faith, I just don't always feel confident. Look, I get it, and you're not alone. As a pastor myself to over 20,000 people, I hear your questions and concerns every single day. Questions you may have right now. Questions just like this.
Did I commit a sin by having tattoos and piercings?
Is unaliving yourself a ticket straight to hell?
I gotta know, is it okay for Christians to smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol?
Why didn't God heal my person?
Is baptism a requirement for me to get to heaven?
Is it a sin for Christians to get cremated?
Do we have to pray out loud?
Do we really have to go to church?
Is it wrong to listen to secular music and watch horror movies?
If you found yourself asking questions just like that, I have some good news for you. I heard you ask, so I replied. On March 4th, my brand new book, Tough Topics, is going to be released. This book answers 25 of the most controversial, most asked questions that you have as a believer. We will go through the Bible together to see what God says himself about some of the most difficult questions we have as believers. The truth is, the Bible has an answer for everything. You don't have to live in fear of sharing your testimony. You don't have to live in fear of someone asking you a question you can't answer. That's why I wrote this book. I want you to walk confidently in your faith. We don't serve a God of confusion. We serve an all-knowing God who loves to share secrets with his children. I pray that this book equips you. I pray that this book blesses you. But more than anything, I pray that it sparks a hunger in you for his word. You can go pre-order Tough Topics by Kelly K right now on Amazon for a discount, or wait till it releases on March 4th and go grab it in stores everywhere. Either way, I know this book will be a blessing to you. It already has been to me. So go pre-order it today and think about that for a minute.
I will say I have his other two books and they
Yeah.
are amazing. So I know that me personally, I will be getting Tough Topics because I
look
just
forward to
love
that.
the way he breaks everything down.
So I look forward to when we get that book. I think it's great. And we share, we love sharing Kelly K Ministries all the time. The guy really knows how to like make people like understand. He makes it make sense. And so as much as, and this is like a non-paid, not sponsorship, it's not a sponsorship,
Not a
but we
sponsor.
certainly support everything that Kelly K does, Kelly K Ministries. And so by all means, if you enjoy watching the videos that we share with Kelly K Ministries, then please go pre-order that book. Or, like he said, if you want to wait to pay full price, and, you do you, boo. But most certainly, if you feel that you get something out of him, and if you feel that he can explain the Bible in a way that it makes sense, not only to you, but a way in which you can communicate it to other people, then truly that is an excellent purchase. So yeah, make sure y'all are checking him out and check out that book.
Yeah.
Because haven't been disappointed with either of the other two books that he has.
Not at all. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Okay. EPA Chief Lee Zeldin reveals agency's gold bar scandal and is working to get the money back.
Let's listen.
We should.
Hi, this is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. One of my very top priorities at EPA is to be an excellent steward of your hard-earned tax dollars. There will be zero tolerance of any waste and abuse. An extremely disturbing video circulated 2 months ago featuring a Biden EPA political appointee talking about how they were tossing gold bars off the Titanic, rushing to get billions of your tax dollars out the door before Inauguration Day. The gold bars were tax dollars, and tossing them off the Titanic meant the Biden administration knew they were wasting it. Following this revelation, during my meetings with members of Congress, I made a very important commitment to them and to the American people, which I reiterated at my confirmation hearing that if confirmed, I would immediately get a full accounting. Fortunately, my awesome team at EPA has found the gold bars. Shockingly, roughly 20 billion of your tax dollars were parked at an outside financial institution by the Biden EPA. This scheme was the first of its kind in EPA history, and it was purposefully designed to obligate all of the money in a rush job with reduced oversight. Even further, this pot of $20 billion was awarded to just 8 entities that were then responsible for doling out your money to NGOs and others at their discretion with far less transparency. Just under $7 billion was sent to one entity called the Climate United Fund. I'm sure you and I now have some of the same questions. How do these organizations decide how to allocate funding? How much money have they given out so far and to whom? Are there any former Biden EPA staffers who are now working at these entities? Let me make one thing abundantly clear. At this point, there is zero reason to suspect any wrongdoing by the bank. Here's my position as EPA administrator. The financial agent agreement with the bank needs to be instantly terminated, and the bank must immediately return all of the gold bars that the Biden administration tossed off the Titanic. EPA needs to reassume responsibility for all of these funds. We will review every penny that has gone out the door. I will be referring this matter to the Inspector General's office, and will work with the Justice Department as well. The days of irresponsibly shoveling boatloads of cash to far-left activist groups in the name of environmental justice and climate equity are over. The American public deserves a more transparent and accountable government than what transpired these past 4 years. We take our obligations under the law as seriously as it gets. I've directed my team to find your gold bars, and they found them. Now we will get them back inside of control of government as we pursue next steps. As President Trump has vowed, we are going to usher in a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Thoughts?
All right. So the climate fund got how many billions of dollars? Did he say? Like, anyways, billions of dollars throwing gold bars off the Titanic. I think we even shared that video because that was one that OMG put out, right? O'Keefe Media Group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny. Anyway, so throwing gold bars off the Titanic, and we've heard this before. We've talked about it. They knew that it was coming. They knew that they had a giant pot of money. They were the ones who chose to send that money out against the benefit of the people of the United States. I look forward to the accountability. I think these people have only done a service to the people by pointing out exactly who they are, who they were sending the money to, because it certainly lets us know there is a list on the Climate Fund's website of the people that are on there, the directors and the leadership of that organization. And I'm sure if that you were to dig into each and every one of them, I'm sure that it would all make so much sense, and who they're connected to. Probably starts with an S and ends with an Oros would be my guess. But either way, they're leaving a trail, and that trail can be followed, and they are only serving to dig it deeper for themselves and their co-conspirators. And I think co-conspirators is probably the best descriptor for the people that they have been working with.
Mm-hmm. And their time is coming.
Their time is nigh.
Their time is nigh. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Harrison Smith bombshell. Pritzker family has 64 non-governmental organizations sucking in millions of taxpayer money.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
The Pritzker family, a prominent political family, apparently has 64 NGOs. Again, this is just one single NGO, and you're seeing a lot of people working for no compensation. They're just a trustee of some sort. Everybody else is being paid upwards of $250,000. Senior VP for policy research, $400,000 a year being paid for that. Strategy affairs being paid $330,000 a year, VP $300,000 a year. And again, they've got 64 of these. This is all paid for by your tax dollars, by the way. That's all your money. So you get these families in government. It's almost just like a thief who figured out that the bank vault door got left open. And they really are just, every NGO is another bag for cash. And they just jam as much cash into one bag as possible, zip it up, throw it away, file a new LLC. We're the clean water people, whatever, fine. Just shove the money in the bag, hand it off to your friends. Do they achieve anything? No, not really. Do they build anything? Certainly not. No, absolutely not at all. Do they make anything better for anybody? Not tangibly, no. Certainly for the people working for them, they're such amazing philanthropists.
Oh, wait. I thought it was over, but it's not.
It's not.
Lie to you about what's happening now. InfoWars tells you the truth about what's happening next. InfoWars.com/go.
Go to the AlexJonesStore.com. Get the very best supplements.
I'm not going to do their advertisement. Go ahead.
Okay.
Thoughts?
And if you want to support Alex Jones, by all means, go to his InfoWars site and find all the things that he's selling there. So the Pritzker family, I did not know this. They have been on the top 10 of the Forbes America's Richest Families since the magazine began such listings in 1982. They've remained in the top 10. Yeah.
Wow.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Family members still largely own Hyatt, and prior to its sale to Berkshire Hathaway, the Marmon Group, a conglomerate of manufacturing and industrial services, Superior Bank of Chicago, TransUnion Credit Bureau, Braniff Airlines, McCall's Magazine, and Royal Caribbean International Cruise Lines. I guess that would kind of explain why the cruise ships were able to keep going during the Rona.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So many interesting things. And they've been getting money from the people.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if that's how they stayed in the top 10. Wow, that sure would be a lot of assets to claw back from the people, or from them to the people of the United States. By the way, they're tied to Ukraine. They're Ukrainian originally. From the Pritz. Yeah, exactly. The Pritzkers. Huh. Interesting. A family we don't normally hear about that has so much power.
We're going to hear about them.
Yeah, we're going to hear a lot about them. Yeah, if you're in Chicago, I think you know who they are. They were, kingmakers over there for quite some time.
For a long, long time.
Long time. More exposure is going to be happening even for the people who have been kind of paying attention. Self included.
Yeah.
But I look forward to understanding the bigger picture more and more each and every day.
Each and every day.
And it's happening.
It is. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
All right. Based Attorney General Pam Bondi has filed charges against New York, Kathy Hochul, Letitia James, and more.
Let's listen.
We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today.
Thoughts?
Well, big news. Should be brought with a lot of fanfare because they're bringing it to them. They're giving it back to them. And now they have to deal with the opposite side. Now they're going to be too busy on the other side trying to fight a defense as opposed to working on an attack that they've been on the entire 4 years that President Trump was out of office. Yeah. Now they get to understand what it's like. And you know what? They did it to themselves based off of the corrupt way that they went about doing everything. They lied, and none of them stuck. Now the truth is coming out, and they're going to have to pay the piper. And they're going to have to go through that very stressful feeling that they tried to put President Trump through. It's a good thing President Trump is resilient as he is, because I'm sure that lesser people, like those that Pam Bondi is going after, won't be quite as resilient when it comes to the attacks. But that might be because in the end, they were doing everything that they were accusing President Trump of. It's going to be fun. Still not tired of winning yet.
Yeah.
Liberty says, headline on Fox City headline on Fox, city mayor's gift room was just revealed. In Chicago. Yeah. The gift room, huh? Hey, Sheriff Hector, what's going on?
You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Left meltdown in 3, 2, 1. Court confirms Trump administration can freeze federal funds legally.
Let's listen.
We should.
So clarifying that the government can limit access to federal funds on the basis of the applicable authorizing statutes, regulations, and terms. Essentially, yes, the government can do so in complying with regulations, and then that the previous order does not bar both the president and much of the federal government from exercising their own lawful authorities to withhold funding without the prior approval of the district court, meaning, again, they can disperse the monies that they were allocated within the law, within the confines of the law, and that the government does not have to seek pre-clearance from the courts on terminating funding as long as they have the authority to do it as governed by the applicable statutory, regulatory, or grant terms. So essentially, the court is confirming what the Trump administration has maintained and what common sense can project, which is that within the confines of regulatory and normal authority, of course, you can do what you want with your own money, and you don't need a court's approval to do so.
Yep, that's
Thoughts?
Corrupt judges, probably paid for by Soros, surprise, surprise, don't have the authority that they would like to have. As much as I appreciate their desire to try to stop the federal government, is it any surprise that the federal government says that the federal government can spend the money the way it wants to? After all, we've been living under a federal government that likes to spend the money the way it wants to. So just because they don't like the way it's being spent now doesn't mean that everything changes all of a sudden. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. It still gets to continue on. It just doesn't get to continue on the way the Wizard of Oz would like it to. Well, sucks to be the Wizard of Oz right now, doesn't it?
It does.
Ha!
Winning is so great.
Winning is great.
Are you ready?
I think we should keep winning.
We're going to.
We should.
It's awesome.
It is.
You ready?
Yep.
Let's listen.
All right.
You better make sure in the next season of your life that the person who walked away from you know what they're missing. You better do something with your life. Look at me. You better do something so strong and so big with your life that they have to sit on the couch and say, that's the one that got by. Man, I should have just stayed in there a little bit longer. I should have been a little more patient. I should have prayed a little bit harder. Do something with your life that makes them regret turning you away and turning you over. That means getting better and not bitter.
Getting better, not bitter.
Well, I'm
Thoughts?
feeling that. Yeah, get better, not bitter. Woo! Boy, that one hits hard, right where it needs to. It's something that we've spoken of in so many ways, but it certainly is a much more powerful way of saying it. To get better, not bitter. Don't sit around and worry about everything that has happened, everything that people say about you, the people that left you. Don't worry about that. You get doing the things that you need to do. And when you're doing the things you need to do, then the people that left you, that didn't want to be around you because they didn't believe in the calling that you knew that you had all along, then they can just be better themselves, or maybe they can get better themselves, which would be even better.
Wow. You're just having fun with those words.
Yeah, it's getting better every minute.
It really is. You ready?
Yes.
You're going to love this one. Let's listen.
All right.
Elon Musk does have a security clearance. He has a top secret security clearance. By God, he makes the rockets for NASA. But the suggestion that he somehow can't be trusted to dig into how we're spending our money is nothing but a smokescreen to hide the corruption and the wasteful spending that has occurred there. And I am personally offended at the left's continued references to 19-year-olds and 21-year-olds in there doing work. There are 19-year-olds who have won the Medal of Honor defending this country. Just because you're 19 doesn't mean you're some child who can't be trusted. It is offensive. And if you're 19 years old out there, 20 years old, and you're serving this country, by God, your service matters. Keep serving. We thank you for that.
Thoughts?
Well, certainly a heartfelt speech from him. That's good. Who is that again?
It was at the U.S. aid hearing today.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know who that was. One of the congressmen or senators or whatever, but
Okay.
they're getting tired
Yeah.
of the bullshit.
People are tired of it. And it's good that these arguments are being made on the floor of Congress, because these are the things that, the left has spent all of this time trying to tell us about how much better kids are, like Hogg and who was that little heifer from overseas that they kept on telling us
Greta.
that. Yeah, Greta. Yeah, Greta. We were supposed to listen to them. They weren't even 19. They weren't even 18.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to listen to them. Those kids are somehow much more intelligent than the ones that are finding all of your corruption. Yeah. Okay. Again, notice that they don't ever attack the veracity of the information that's being presented to the American people. The information being the information on the corruption that's being found. They don't attack that. No, they attack Elon Musk. They attack the young men who are out there finding all of this corruption.
Yeah.
They go after the people. They're not going after the truth.
Well, they're attacking them because they are finding the corruption.
Well,
They're
exactly.
attacking them because it takes money out of their pocket because they're all thieves.
Well, okay. And so they are thieves and they are attacking the person. It's an ad hominem attack. And America doesn't know how to have a true rhetoric with each other. We have this difficulty in communicating and discussing issues. But if the American people were actually taught something like, I don't know, philosophy, then the kids would understand that these attacks to the person are an illogical argument, and therefore we should not consider the attack on the person, because what the person is doing is actually truthful and good and a benefit to society as whole. We can't have that conversation because we're too worried about this Jerry Springer style of arguments. Yeah, but you smell funny.
Yeah.
It's no different. We are listening to children.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just needs to be pointed out. Yeah, you cannot like them, but let's talk about the part that really matters, which is the corruption we're finding.
Mm-hmm.
They're not fighting against the waste that's being found.
Exactly.
Stick to the facts.
They don't know how to do that.
No, they don't. But when we're talking to these people who are very closed-minded, innocent and closed minds is what we're fighting against. And they just need to see that they're just not thinking clearly right now. But they'll wake up and they can, help us in the end.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt fires back at CNN propagandist Caitlin Collins.
Let's listen.
Mm-hmm.
She is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, don't mess with that one.
I don't think for you. Which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night?
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus, many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the President questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office. And you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
But isn't it retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the Geographical Identification Name Server. And Apple has recognized that. Google has recognized that. Pretty much every other outlet in this room has recognized that body of water as the Gulf of America. And it's very important to this administration that we get that right, not just for people here at home, but also for the rest of the world. Sure.
Thoughts?
It's interesting. So the press doesn't like it when they give out false or misleading information, and they're not allowed to continue to give out false and misleading information. Huh. That's interesting. I wonder why they would be sensitive to such a thing.
I don't know.
That's really weird.
That is weird.
Because if I'm sure that everything that they tell is the absolute truth over at the AP.
Always.
And I'm sure that the AP didn't receive any money from USAID.
No, not at all.
You know, if you say that differently, it's you said.
I know.
Anyway, just food for thought. Anyways, so yeah, they can get glad in the same pants they got mad in, because they were the ones fact checking everything with false facts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Zulu Foxtrot Golf given towards their plight. If they were busy trying to tell the truth, then maybe I'd care. But since they're just a tabloid over at the AP, I'm going to go ahead and say that don't care.
Yeah.
Steph says, oh, ain't this the pot calling the kettle black? They tried to tell us what we could and couldn't say. Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Constantly.
fun. All the time, every single day.
Huh.
Even though we were telling the truth the whole time.
Yes. Yes.
Well, liar's gonna lie.
Exactly. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Ken Paxton says George Soros controls 70% of Texas through elected DAs. Thank you.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Every big construction site in this country has prostitution run by the cartels, often of children. I don't see anyone do anything about it. And it makes you wonder, like, Mexico is completely, utterly corrupt because of cartel money. Politicians, judges, journalists, all on the payroll. You see this in other Latin American countries. I mean, our politicians are not that expensive. Like, you could do that in a state like Texas, right? Or California.
Yeah, well, here's one of the biggest problems we have. We have it in Texas. We have it in other parts of the country. George Soros has figured this out. He's gone in and elected DAs in Democratic counties. Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. So 70% of our population controlled by Soros DAs. He went in and knocked off Democratic DAs because we can't get elected Republicans in those areas. So he went in and knocked off DAs who were actually prosecuting and replaced them with Soros DAs. Now, our legislature could fix that. They haven't. They could come in and say, AG, you have concurrent jurisdiction to go after these crimes. But because they haven't done that, crime is proliferating in all of our cities. Financial crimes, other types of crimes, because they will not prosecute crimes. And so the cartels have an open invitation. So do other cartels from other countries. So if you go out to our financial crime unit in Tyler, they will tell you about all these crime groups coming in from other countries because they know they can get away with it. And our legislature so far has not fixed that.
Why? Okay. So then the question of motive arises. Like, why wouldn't you want to stop crime in your state?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I find that DAs have more power in Texas than any elected official I've ever seen, because they're not accountable to anybody. If they commit a crime, no one can prosecute them. If it's a state crime, they'd have to prosecute themselves. And they can allow any crimes in their area. And they can go after, in Texas, it is so easy to get an indictment. You just walk in, you can tell the grand jury anything you want to. You can lie. Once you have the indictment, you've got it. There's no getting out of it. And so I think a lot of our politicians are afraid of their DAs. even if they're liberal Democrats. But if we don't get control of this in our state and in other states and give somebody like the Attorney General, I'm not going to be there forever, give that authority so that there's another way to prosecute when the Soros DAs, and Soros has figured it out, but the Republicans have not.
I mean, it's so obvious just in your, 45-second explanation. It, it makes sense. So how is it that they haven't figured it out, or do they have a higher loyalty?
They're afraid of the DAs. They're afraid the DAs come in and lobby, and everybody's afraid of their own DA, that they'll get indicted if they do it. There's just that power, because to get an indictment in Texas, you don't have to have, there's no recording of it. It's only one side of the story. You can, and if they lie and they get the indictment, there's no remedy. There's no consequence to the DA, and there's no remedy for the victim of that lie. You are going to trial. You can even, if somehow you could find out what happened in that secret grand jury proceeding, which I have before, it doesn't matter. You can go to judge and say they lied. You still are indicted, and you're still at risk of going to prison.
You have to tell your kids you've been indicted.
And you might be in prison. You might be in front of a jury that doesn't know the truth, and you go to jail, or you're in a Democratic county, you might go to jail on something that they made up.
So you really think, I mean, I'm sorry to be so naive, but I grew up in this country and we didn't have things like this that I was aware of in 1985. But you think that members of the Texas legislature are afraid they'll be indicted if they push back against the DAs?
I think there is a fear, and there is this lobby effort. These DAs have so much power. Otherwise, why would they allow Soros to control the major cities and it's obvious that they're not prosecuting crimes. They won't even prosecute shoplifting for, like, if you have free ride, if you want to, as long as you take $750 a day in Dallas County, whatever the number is, and you go to different stores, you can do that every day. And the DA there said, we will not prosecute you.
But why would you want that unless you were trying to destroy a civilization?
Soros, it's exactly what he wants to do.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I know that the Soros family will not have anywhere to go on this planet, and I look forward to that day. It's a shame. I love the state of Texas, but Texas does have some issues that needs to be dealt with. And this is the prime example of exactly what's going on that needs to be dealt with. And this is the trick that George Soros learned a long time ago. You corrupt the people who have the ability to do the prosecutions. And it starts out simple and easy at first, hey, don't go after this person, I vouch for him or whatever. And then it just snowballs from there. And then the avalanche comes where they've bought into the corruption because they were corrupt that first time. They got there, they're taking the money, and they sold their souls. And they have no choice but to protect it. Exact same thing that we're seeing with President Trump cleaning all these other places out. It's coming. The day is coming when these corrupt individuals will not have anywhere to go. They will not be able to walk down the street. And the thing is the citizenry of each and every one of these towns needs to figure out who the good people are and say to them, we've got your back. We support you just the same way President Trump went forward and did the right thing, and people gravitated to him. We need our politicians to stand up and do the exact same thing. And we need the politicians to know, the ones that are fighting for the truth and trying to root out the evil and the corrupt people that are in each and every county in this country. And they need to go to, the bad people need to go to jail, and the good people need to know that they have our support the same way we supported President Trump. And I think this is going to be one of the long-term benefits of President Trump being able to win this presidency. I mean, we kind of knew it was coming all along, especially if you follow Q. But what I'm going to say is that it sets the precedent, and it says that we will support the people who care about the people over themselves. Liberty says Soros is a puppet. Larry Page in Fiji is the boss and maybe the Antichrist. There's something different about Larry Page.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that, but I think Soros is a player on his own personally. But, we'll find out in the end.
We'll find out. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Joe Rogan on Elon Musk's critics. You picked the wrong psychopath on the spectrum.
Let's listen.
Yeah, let's listen.
This other thing about Elon. Elon's going to steal everybody's money. He has $400 billion. I'm telling you, he's not going to steal your money. I'm telling you, that's not what he's doing. What he's doing is he's a super genius that's been with. Okay? And when you've been with by these nitwits that hide behind 3-letter agencies, and you're dealing with one of the smartest people alive, and he helps Donald Trump get in office, and he goes, I want to find out what kind of corruption is really around. Well, you fucked up. You fucked up and picked the wrong psychopath on the spectrum because he's gonna hunt you down. He's gonna find out what's going on, and that's good. That's good for everybody.
Thoughts?
Elon Musk was a dumb one to screw with. There's no doubt about that. He's just too smart. Again, keep in mind the movie A Beautiful Mind, except for a better functioning version of A Beautiful Mind. The guy is absolutely amazing, and he was given to us at this time for a very specific reason. So I would say, yeah, Elon Musk is on the side of the Constitution. And what more could we ask for? To have one of the most brilliant minds in this age, actually, probably the most brilliant mind in this age, I'm going to go with at this point. I don't know. But with Elon Musk being there and doing what he's doing, it's the best thing for the American people and the Republic, even though he keeps calling it a democracy, which I don't understand, but whatever.
I know. And he knows better.
He does.
I
He
think,
does. He
I don't
knows
know
better.
why he's doing it, but
I'm telling you, they're doing it so that way they don't sidetrack the conversation, because the left will take that and they will change the focus of the conversation by changing it to, no, it's a democracy, blah, 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 blah. You know the arguments already, so why even bother? We'll get to that one after they've been proven wrong about even more stuff, kind of like they've already been proven wrong about everything the conspiracy theorists have been talking about up to this point. And so they still need to be more wrong before they can start doing a little bit of introspection and say, hey, I've been kind of messing up on a lot of stuff. Maybe I should listen to these other people that keep getting everything right.
well, there is that.
Just a thought.
Yeah. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey says the algorithms are definitely programming us.
You ready?
I don't even know. Is that Jack?
I don't know. He kind of looks homeless now.
Well, he's always looked homeless. Anyway,
Let's listen.
let's listen.
Experiment as much as possible. I mean, like, keep pulling the thread on what people want to use it for. I'm a big believer in, like, I think it's less about free speech. I think it's more about, do we get to choose how the algorithms are programming us? Because the algorithms are definitively programming us. And it's very, very hard to tell what an algorithm is going to do and predict what it's going to do. And that's where the danger comes in. But if I can choose what algorithm filters my tweets and what I get to see, and I have, instead of like an app store, an algorithm store, where I get to put these on my timeline, then I have a lot more agency in the content and the experience. And I think it ends up creating a much healthier relationship with the technology. And I'm not just speaking about Twitter. This is for YouTube and for financial technologies. We are being programmed. These algorithms know our preferences better than us. That's only going to increase. How do we increase agency at the individual level? It's by choice. It's by being able to turn off the algorithm. It's by being able to choose different algorithms. It's by being able to make my own algorithm.
Thoughts?
You know how you beat the algorithm?
How?
Turn it off.
Yeah.
Go live like a real life, not a computer life, not a digital life. How much reward do you actually get out of it other than the dopamine rush for whatever program you're using that's designed specifically to give you your dopamine hit? And that is what keeps us attached to our phones and our computers and TVs for that matter. It's all the same. And he's right in the sense that they are programming us, but they can't program us if we aren't attached to them all the time. Sadly, the kids are going to have a much more difficult time trying to dig themselves out of the dopamine cycle that the phones and tablets and everything has been they've been raised off of because parents have been busy, and so they try to keep the kids entertained. Meanwhile, they're trying to get things done in life. Whatever the case is, it's going to be difficult. But the best way to do it is go do something outside that has absolutely nothing to do with an electronic device. F. Clint says, but we got to troll the libtard. I know we got to do some trolling. Just do it between the hours of such and such and such and such. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
Ugh. Sometimes I don't even want to see the phone.
Boy, that's the truth. Yeah, I miss them being attached to a wall on a cord with an answering machine.
I know. Spinning around in the kitchen.
I mean, whatever.
And that was fun.
Okay.
It was.
Maybe it was. I don't know. I didn't do that one.
You ready?
Yes.
How about some Craig?
All right.
Many of you, honestly, you are missing genuine spiritual community. You're missing a group of people to encourage you in the things of the Lord, to pray for you, to hold you accountable, and to help you become closer to Jesus. When you hurt, you're hurting alone. When you're celebrating alone. And what I've noticed just in years of pastoring is that spiritual community never happens by accident. For some of you, this is your one, because you're not doing well alone. And it's time to do something about it. It's not going to change. Take a step, risk, let someone in, because you were not created by God to be alone.
Thoughts?
So this kind of goes back to a little bit of what we were talking about yesterday in terms of how you can focus your mindset. And you do that by determining what comes into your orbit, so that way you have more control over what gets put into your subconscious for you to work on, or your conscious mind, as you're going through all the things that are going on in life. And you got to, focus on something. It's easier to keep your focus on God by making sure that you are curating the inputs that you get in your life. And so when you're around a community of Christians, then you are more likely to be more Christian, because there are less of those distractions from the outside. And that's, exactly what he's talking about. But, we can have our communities online, but it's extremely important for us to have our community in close physical proximity. Remember, they wanted everybody 6 feet away during the Rona because it prevents that connection that is made by that close human proximity. It is important for us to build that community and to be around like-minded people. So make sure that you are finding a community that works for you in close proximity to where you're at. I think that the internet is a tremendous place. I met my wife on the internet, AOL, as a matter of fact, in a chat room. Once upon a time, those don't even exist anymore. But that is great and everything, but we had to have that close human connection for it to actually be a real friendship relationship kind of thing. So make sure that you do have that community that can rely on you, as well as you might be able to rely on them as well. Randoon says, I think if it's all BS, like we don't get brainwashed by it. But if you believe what you are watching, it's a different story. I do believe that there is a difference there. I guess that's going back to the previous conversation. They wanted everyone 6 feet under too. Boy, ain't that the truth, Randoon. Yeah.
They did.
Evil people.
Evil people.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
All right. Here's a 39-second breakdown of why Americans love and trust President Trump.
Ready?
Yes.
This is so good.
I love living in a country where you can wake up every day and say, I wonder what the president's up to today. And you can just find it out. You just figure it out. It's online at basically just whatever he's doing. He's signing executive orders. Oh, it's being live streamed. He's visiting families that fell victim to a hurricane. Oh, it's on Fox News right now. He's doing a private dinner. Oh, well, they're live streaming that too. I wonder what his policy changes are. Oh, well, he was watching the Super Bowl and just decided to get rid of the penny, and he tweeted about it to let everyone know. This is the most American thing I've ever seen.
Thoughts?
Mike says you can't soar with the eagles if you're pecking with the chickens. That's the truth. All right. So, all right, getting a little lost here because I was trying to follow up with Liberty's Twitter page. I wasn't able to get there. But anyways, yeah, lost. Boy, it is acting like a Monday today.
Are you ready?
My bad. Yeah.
Wow. honey.
Please. Yeah, I know.
Can you read that, please?
Tired. All right. More of this. The Doge report this week.
Let's listen.
Yeah, I'll actually listen this time.
In case you missed it, here's the Doge report for today. So where is our money actually being spent? Well, they found that 3 million is being used to study steroid enhanced hamster fighting. I think you could just go to like a bar at night, watch a couple dudes get into it, and know what steroids will do for a fight. Okay. 2.3 million has been used for studying cocaine effects on beagles. Why don't you just spend about $1,500, get yourself a Coachella ticket, get a lawn chair, sit back, watch. You'll understand what cocaine does to anyone. Coachella, just go there. $600,000 in parrot romance. That's important. It's definitely really important, actually. We'll keep that. 500,000 in racial aggression in mice. I'm sorry, do mice give a shit? They just want your food. They don't care if you're black, you're white, you're Asian. They don't care. They just probably want to get your food and your crumbs and in your house and on the streets and gross. Okay. 1.1 million training mice to binge drink. Just go to UGA, pick a sorority house, pick a fraternity house, watch them on the weekends. They'll binge drink, study the effects after that. Free. Just again, lawn chair. See, I think we should just promote buying a couple of lawn chairs and go to a couple of these events. You'll get all the studies you need and willing participants. 2.1 million encouraging Ethiopians to wear shoes. That's effective for Americans. Thank God. That's where our money is going. We know we can't buy groceries, but let's make sure those Ethiopians wear their shoes. I can't even get my kid to put their shoes on. Okay, can we maybe put a little money in that? Or sometimes I'm like, where's the other shoe? Why do you only have one? What happened to the second one? Okay. 187,000 verifying that kids love their pets. Unless you're raising Jeffrey Dahmer, your kids like their pets. It's just natural. Most people like pets more than like humans. I know, I do. 2.7 million studying Russian cats on treadmills. Why don't we take 2.7 million and try to encourage more Americans to use treadmills? Finally, 875,000 studying cocaine effects on quail mating. Again, lawn chair, sorority fraternity house, a good party. Watch what happens when cocaine enters the room. So in case you missed it, that is where your hard-earned dollars are going this week in the Doge report.
Thoughts?
Wow. All right. Ange says it's ridiculous what they've done, but I can't say I've been surprised. I have not been surprised by anything. Racist mice and cocaine parties everywhere. I wonder how much cocaine is actually making it to the mice. Just curious. Or is the cocaine getting used for other things?
Mm-hmm.
Like supporting warfare that we didn't know about that, becomes terrorism or something like that. I mean, that could be a possibility. I doubt that's what's going on because I know that nobody inside the U.S. government would support terrorist organizations.
No, never.
No, because that would be illegal. Same reason why we're trying to make guns illegal because nobody will use guns anymore.
Oh, okay. Is that how that works?
That's what the left
How's
keeps
that
telling us.
working for
Maybe that's why they think it works because all of them are on cocaine and who knows what else, whatever other drugs we've been buying for the people in Congress and their little lackeys that make sure that they get their cocaine and other drugs and alcohol. Wow. What a surprise.
Yeah.
Whew. So
Oh, So glad we're doing all this.
Yeah, not surprised by any of it, but good thing is that it's actually being found out. It's going to continue to piss people off, especially understanding that so many people went to jail for drug possession, whether or not it was intent to distribute. They're in jail. Meanwhile, everybody in government's been getting high on the hog. Fun. How fun.
It's kind of beyond ridiculous.
It needs to be absolutely exposed. 100%. And the individuals responsible, the ones that were sending all of us to jail for the very things that they were doing that we weren't doing, just the mere implication of doing something that they're actually doing, they would send us to jail in a heartbeat. Yeah, they need to go to jail for the rest of their lives. How about that opium they love so much? Poppy fields, anyone? Yeah, I know. Keep hearing about all these poppy fields that we keep guarding.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird.
And since we're sharing X-Files names, don't forget to follow us over there.
Appreciate that. There you go.
You ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
Alrighty.
Do you fucking liberals recognize that the main cause you're fighting for right now is for the right of unelected bureaucrats to spend billions of our tax dollars in other countries? That's the side you're on right now. That's what you're making videos about. That's what you're writing articles on Substack about. That's what you're protesting for. That's what you're filing lawsuits to make sure happens. Are you fucking stupid? Imagine if I had told you 10 years ago that in 2025, the thing liberals in America would most be fighting for is for billions, if not trillions of dollars of their money to be spent in other countries on things that don't benefit America in any fucking way, while America goes farther and farther into debt. What if I had told you 10 years ago that you'd be fighting for the right of politicians to be able to line their pockets with bullshit payments to bullshit programs in bullshit countries? You wouldn't have believed me. That's where we are. That's what you're fighting for. And what you're fighting against? You're fighting against people who just want to audit our government, who just want to audit our governmental agencies, people who just want to see where we're spending money, where we're wasting money, and where we're committing fraud. And you're fighting against that. Are you out of your fucking minds?
Thoughts?
Boy, do I. All sorts of thoughts. Here, let me share this real quick, and I think that says everything we need to say. Stockholm Syndrome symptoms. This pops right up. Emotional, positive feelings towards the abuser, empathy for the abuser, gratitude towards the abuser, and fear of the abuser. The cognitive symptoms, denial of the abuse, rationalization of the abuse, self-blame and distrust of other. Behavioral, protecting the abuser, siding with the abuser against others, following the abuser's orders, and difficulty leaving the abusive situation. Also coincides with depression, anxiety, hopelessness, and isolation. Sounds like a damn Pfizer commercial.
It does.
Well, not just Pfizer. I mean, all of them.
All of them.
Yeah. Big Pharma. Sounds like a big Pharma commercial. Yeah, that's exactly what I see is going on. I don't know how anybody could see it any different at this point in time, just because the truth is slapping them in the face every single day, hour by hour, minute by minute. And they're still protecting their abusers as if their life depended on it.
I know.
It's like they have Stockholm Syndrome or something. That's why we need to be patient with them. I know it's difficult. And we need to pray for these people. So there's that. Mike says, I've been screaming this for 20 years. I'm glad people are finally seeing it. Yeah, right there along with you.
Yeah. I followed you back, Ange, and
yes.
Wanted to say hi to Chops over on Pilled.
What's up, Chops?
You
I got that stick. I see the snailian.
Yeah. You're ready.
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Democrat to Representative Garcia. The American public wants us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight.
Let's listen.
Well, there's got to be sound.
I want to hear why, but do you think that calling Elon Musk a dick is effective messaging for confronting what is a potentially irreversible transformation of the U.S. government?
Well, he is a dick. And I think that he's also harming the American public in an enormous way. And what I think is really important, and what the American public want, is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy, for the future of this country. And it's important to push back on the chairperson of this committee. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about having decorum, about bipartisanship. This is the person that lies more than anybody else in the entire Congress. And so if she is going to make a mockery of hearings, I want to make sure that us as Democrats are bringing that same level of energy. And of course, after those comments, we went into exactly what Elon Musk is trying to do, dismantling the Department of Labor, dismantling the Department of Education, dismantling all of our consumer protection agencies. And so it's all important, but it's also important to get the attention of the American public and call Elon Musk out for what he is, and to make people know that Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a serious legislator, and she shouldn't be treated as such.
Wow. Well, first things first. I thought only the Cholas Sharpied their eyebrows on, but that dude had some epic Sharpied eyebrows. Those things were, whew, carefully manicured. Oh, so professional. As he sits there and says dirty words on TV, as if that's what we want to hear from our Congress people.
Right.
No, that's not what we want. We want y'all to be the most intelligent people in the room. And sadly, we didn't get anything close to that.
Not with that one.
Whew, not with so many of them. I think, we can count Senator Kennedy in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's not very many.
No.
The guy is an idiot and scared. Oh, yeah, he's scared.
He looks like a pedo.
They're all scared. They're all scared. That's why they're on TV doing the whining and complaining.
Yeah.
I kind of have a feeling CNN is double crossing their friends.
I hope so.
It's kind of looking like it. There's too much going on. And they actually said hairy balls.
Yes, they did. They really did. They really did.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go.
Panic in DC is coming in about 2 weeks. Boy, isn't that the truth. Yeah.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
How long has this man been here?
It's Uzziah. We've been friends since my malady started, but he's been blind since birth.
St. James. Yes, some water from the well. Could you introduce me to your friend?
What are you? You can't.
No, look. Why not?
It's Shabbat.
That'll make this more fun.
Uzziah, this is Jesus, the teacher.
The one who healed Shula and me.
He knows, Barnaby.
Barnaby, he's not deaf, he's blind. Shabbat Shalom, Uzziah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Rabbi, please answer this for us.
Who sinned?
Uzziah or his parents that he was born blind?
You're a friend of his?
Yes, and we've wondered for years.
It's not that this man sinned, or his parents, but that the work of God might be displayed in him. Listen carefully. We must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. But as long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world.
We cannot work at night.
We have limited time on earth, Matthew. I have limited time. Let's not argue the sins of the past. We've got light to give.
Excuse me.
This might feel strange, but it will be worth it. Put it there. Hold still. Now wash. Right here to your right. That's it. How does it look? Very good. I got you.
Shalom. Shalom. I heard Jesus was here. Look. Uzziah? Uzziah, what
The
happened?
man who used to sit and beg had very white eyes. That's because he was blind.
Come with me.
Now?
Yes, now. To the synagogue.
I can't think of a better place. Thank you. Thank you. They want to see me at the synagogue.
I'm sure they do.
Tell my parents what happened, and then I'm at the synagogue. Absolutely. Right away.
Where do they live?
How would I know? I was blind the whole time I knew him.
We'll ask her out. Let's go.
Do another miracle.
That's not how this works. I have much to share with you. So listen carefully. Everybody come closer.
He's preaching in the square. Come quickly. Come. Shh. Don't draw attention.
Thoughts?
Well, so another wonderful story, and I love the way The Chosen, puts the story of Jesus out there. It's such a great series, and it's a joy to watch, and it certainly transports me, no, without a doubt. The story of healing the blind man. Of course, the Sadducee was right there.
And it was on Sabbath.
Because he healed on the Sabbath, and then all the lessons that come out about that is it's a tremendous story, and it teaches us so much because people were so afraid to do anything on the Sabbath, and it actually had to be pointed out that if you had an ox that got stuck in a well, that it was okay that you weren't going to sin because you saved the life of an animal, let alone a human being. And that's what this whole story is it's okay to do good works on the Sabbath. And first things first, we got to kind of figure out what Sabbath is and actually get to the business of resting on the seventh day. And there's a lot of discussion about that. But however you choose to do that, as long as you're honoring God, then I think that at least you're on the right path. I have no idea what the right path is, but I'm saying that you got to follow your journey. And I know that the Bible says specifically that we have to honor the Sabbath and rest on the Sabbath. So those are the things we should do. But that rest is from our normal daily grind. Got to do something different, something to recharge the batteries, refresh ourselves. And I would say that somebody getting the ability to see on the Sabbath would fall under the it's okay category. And sadly, he had to lose his life to teach us these lessons. But the benefit is that not only are the Jews saved, but the rest of us as well, the Gentiles as well. And so we do our part, understanding the fact that we have been grafted onto the vine by him and follow and understand the lessons that he teaches us. Beautiful, beautiful story.
Beautiful. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's listen.
All righty.
Y'all remember when I told you that Harry usually debunks himself in his own video because he refuses to read? Here, he debunks himself and reads and still doesn't notice.
Donald Trump's State Department is awarding Tesla, one of Elon Musk's companies, a $400 million government contract.
Now, instead of me debunking him, I'm going to let him do it himself.
The State Department's procurement forecast, revised as of late December 2024, lists Tesla as the recipient of the largest expected contract.
Did y'all catch the date on that one?
Late December 2024.
Harry, who was president in December of 2024? Yeah, that was Biden's administration that listed Tesla as the recipient. By the way, the Trump administration has removed that and put it up to open bid, but it is for an armored EV. The number one EV manufacturer is obviously in the running. But yeah, the Biden administration did that in 2024. Trump took it away, yet you're still trying to blame Trump for it. Liberal logic is fun.
Thoughts?
Can we stop calling liberal logic, like stop using the word logic? That is the greatest oxymoron.
It really is.
Anyway, so yeah, Harry Sisson, keep in mind he was one of the pay-to-play people that the Biden administration was putting out there. I'm sure that may have been funneled through USAID, or you said, but who knows, because he's still out there spouting the narrative. I have no idea who's paying him, but obviously he's still doing it because even he himself, Harry Sisson himself, if I remember correctly, said that he doesn't believe it, that he's just saying it because that's what he's getting paid to say.
Exactly. He did say that on a podcast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that tells me
friend Chris.
I honestly believe that he doesn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that he's still getting paid. But you know what? That's fine. He makes it easy to be debunked, and that works in our favor.
It really does.
I don't know what kind of scam you got going on, Harry, but you're playing with fire, dude.
Yeah. And that money's going to dry up.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
How about some Charlie Kirk?
Charlie works.
Let's listen.
Oh, and here's the big news, everybody. Whoo, it's the big one. You ready? It's going to shake the very body politic of D.C. You can feel the trembling, the screaming, the rancor. I can't believe they're going to do it. Oh, and I love this. This is my favorite part. We both agreed to visit each other's nations. That's right. President Donald Trump is going to go to Russia. You know who else went to Russia? Ronald Reagan went to Russia. So before you allow the media to propagandize you, Ronald Reagan visited Russia. That's right. I think Vladimir Putin should sit down for a long interview on the Charlie Kirk Show. I think Vladimir Putin should sit down with a long interview with Joe Rogan. And this is President Trump delivering not just on a campaign promise. This is above and beyond. This is Nobel Peace Prize stuff.
Thoughts?
If the Nobel Peace Prize didn't lose all credibility when they gave Obama the Nobel Peace Prize before he even took office, if I remember, certainly before he started any of the numerous wars that he started on his own.
Yeah.
But it's getting floated out there, and I have a feeling the Nobel laureate will be de-wokified, unwoked. I don't know. At some point in time, I think that there will be a reconciliation with what's been going on with the Nobel Prize. Because it's clearly been corrupted. But, we know that President Trump is going to be doing these Nobel level kinds of acts to bring peace around the world, sitting at a table. They're all talking with each other, which is something that hasn't been able to happen for so long. When was the last time that Russia and the U.S. were able to sit down and have legitimate conversations? When was the last time that the U.S. and China were able to sit down and have legitimate conversations about what's going on in the world and how we can work together as a international community? Woken. that works, F. Glenn. Anyways, it's happening. It's going to take some time, but all of these things are happening all at once. And I think that as President Trump meets with Putin and Zelensky, getting that war over with, as President Trump is planning on meeting with Xi Jinping and the global leaders of the world, beautiful things are going to happen. And a lot of these countries are going to agree with the direction this country is going, and they will stay out of the way and maybe even provide some assistance. Boy, wouldn't that be something if all of the politicians that China had bought and paid for say, oh yeah, by the way, these people were on our payroll just in case since y'all were doing some deep searches on your funding and everything, you're going to end up seeing it anyways, but we figured we'd help out. I can see that happening.
Yeah.
We'll know who the Manchurian candidates are, and that's probably why he's going to try to claim Kenyan citizenship,
Yeah.
among
That's
so
not-
many others.
I
Maybe not the
know.
Kenyan citizenship, but yeah, they're going to get left out to dry.
They are.
Mm.
And it's going to be glorious.
I guess crime doesn't pay.
It really doesn't.
Not in the end, huh?
Not in the end.
Doesn't seem to work out.
No, does
Huh.
not.
Well, they tried.
They tried. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
All righty. Introducing Grow a Pair.
Let's listen.
God.
Have you been crying like a bitch over Elon Musk? Do you find yourself sobbing at the thought of your taxpayer-funded transgender basket weaving club losing its funding? You may be suffering from a common condition known as libtardism-induced meltdown. But don't worry, there's help. Introducing Grow a Pair, the revolutionary prescription solution designed to help you accept reality. With just one dose a day, you'll start to understand that tax dollars aren't meant for gender numeral electric vehicle startups in Vietnam. After taking Grow a Pair, you may notice life-changing improvements, such as smaller man boobs, the ability to fund your own transgender basket weaving without relying on Uncle Sam, and a newfound indifference to the defunding of the U.S. Department of Slope Sidewalk Studies. Grow a Pair won't solve all your problems, but it can help you stop fixating on who's going to pay for DEI pudding packs in Cambodia.
Side effects may include dry mouth, increased common sense, employment, smaller man boobs, and lower taxes.
Ask your doctor if Grow a Pair is right for you, because adulting is hard, but it doesn't have to be.
Thoughts?
Is that a word we're going to lose in our lexicon?
What?
The adulting.
I don't know.
I look forward to the end of the word adulting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, funny video. If there was only a pill for that.
Right.
Or maybe it's stop giving people all of these pills that make them do dumb shit.
Well, there is that.
Just a thought.
Just a thought.
Just a thought.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
75,000 people accepted the buyout program. That's going to save millions of dollars for the American taxpayers, and that's exactly what we wanted.
You didn't want it to be extended by even a couple of days,
We
so
put
that
it-
people were waiting for the judge's decision. You could have had more time after that.
We put a deadline on it, and the deadline was reached. 75,000 people accepted the offer.
75,000 federal employees took the buyout.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, Felicia.
Well, not all of them are bad. A lot of these people were close to retirement, and it's like, you know what? This is a golden opportunity, and I'm basically going to get paid for 9 months until my retirement comes through. So they get a free 9 months towards their retirement, and I know a lot of people took that option, and I think that that's great too, because it's time for a new class of government employee to come in, and as it's getting cleaned up, and all of these people that think they're going to fight the man or whatever kind of ridiculous notion they've come up with in their head, that they're somehow going to make America corrupter again or something. I don't know, but it's not going to work out well. They're going to get rooted out and booted. So once they get launched out the door, it's going to allow people who actually care about the country and the Constitution and the sanctity of their job. Maybe the people that come in have had a difficult time, and they understand that a job is a blessing, and what a blessing a government job is. It may not pay as much. Well, shit, anymore it pays more than the civilian sector. I'm sure that's going to change, but that was always the trade-off with the government job. You took less pay, but you were guaranteed a retirement. You were guaranteed job security, provided that you were actually doing your job. Well, those kinds of principles will be coming back into the way the government functions moving forward. So if it is an efficient machine because of Doge, I do believe that it's going to be so much better, and the people who need to be working there will actually have the opportunity to do so, and they'll understand the blessing that that job is. And that's exactly what we need, as opposed to a bunch of people who think that the government owes them because of whatever woke idea that they were told was acceptable. That's not. It's going to be those who truly appreciate it, and that's what we truly need. Let's see. Randoon said, news said they were mostly six figures already. Well, yeah, looking for that retirement. Of course, then again, there is a large pay scale there.
There is.
There is. And people have been, if people have been working for the government for, 20, 30 plus years, whatever the case is, there's a possibility, especially if they were hitting all the checks in the box, got all the education, met all the right people, kissed the right ass, did all the things that a bureaucracy needs you to do. And we don't need bureaucrats anymore.
No, we don't.
It's changing, and these people aren't going to know how to run an efficient government because they only know how to run an inefficient government. So, you know what? Enjoy your retirement. You made the right choice from my perspective. I could be wrong, but, I think that discretion is a better part of valor in this one.
I agree with you.
It's the people who don't feel like dying on that hill because they already know that it's going to be a little bit more difficult.
It is. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's listen.
All right.
Past is past. It's never come again. The present, it's the best gift that we have in our life. The present. Because you don't know that what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know. I don't know. You don't know. So live the present.
Thoughts?
Tomorrow isn't promised. And yesterday is just a memory, and nothing we can do about the past, just like you said. So what do we have? The only thing that we have, which is the present. Every day is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And we need to take care of that present, the gift that the present is, because the present is what determines how we feel in that moment. And how we feel in that moment has long-lasting effects on what happens for the next 30 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, the rest of the day. So if we're focused on the present and good things happen because we're doing the things to make sure that we are in that positive, vibration, and the people around us are in that positive frequency, then it will only feed itself to create more positivity in the world around us, therefore making it easier to continue to stay positive. And that can only be done if you are mentally and physically in the present. If you're off in space when, something's going on, you're missing out on life. It was like that movie, oh God, what was it? Where he had the remote control. He kept on fast forwarding through all the boring stuff.
Click.
Click. Yeah, I think it was Click. I think that was the name of it.
Yeah.
And
Adam Sandler.
Yes, that's him. Anyway, so Adam Sandler, whether or not, however you feel about the guy, I mean, I haven't heard anything specific, but that doesn't mean anything. Anyways, in that movie, that's kind of how we live life. We don't want to deal with this stuff. So we're going to fast forward through it. And we check out of what's going on in the present. Well, that's exactly what we shouldn't be doing. We should be keeping our focus on what's going on in the present. And if you don't like what's going on in the present, then try to figure out exactly what it is you're supposed to be doing to change that situation and make it better, not only for you, but everyone else around you. And sometimes it's just a matter of managing your attitude.
You can only control your own attitude and your own emotions.
Yeah, it's the only thing we have control over. And we can only do that in the here and now.
Exactly. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
The person we're about to invite on is the only person I've ever met who spent, 20 years being denounced pretty much every week by every single news organization in the world. And this man, in the face of opposition that no politician I've ever seen, he persisted in saying what he thought was true. And I've known this man for a while, and I've admired him for a long time. And what's amazing is to wake up in a country that in some ways is not getting better, but to wake up in a country that all of a sudden has stopped mocking this man as a crazy person and has started to realize that the lone brave voice may have been right all along. And so it's an honor to introduce Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Who was confirmed today.
He was confirmed today. Man,
Thought.
that's great news. I'm glad. And you know what? He really has gone through hell. Of course, I think pretty much every Kennedy went through hell, especially the ones that decided to go into politics.
Yeah.
Brave man. And I never fully appreciated who the Kennedys were until I got much older. And yeah, there's some regret there. But at the same time, I have seen the light, and I understand what they were actually fighting for, and the tremendous pressure that has been placed upon just merely having the last name of Kennedy and being a part of that clan. It's truly a sight to behold how it has flipped, and people are listening to Ron Paul now. People are understanding Ron Paul. There were a lot of lone voices talking about their specific little understanding of what was, what they were fighting. The lone knight fighting against the dragon, and it's changed. And it's changing more and more every day. And they're getting the support that they've always needed, because in the end, that's all they ever needed was the people. And so when the people are finally supporting the very people who have been trying to tell us the truth, that is exactly why the changes are happening. So it's reason to give thanks to God and to rejoice for the beautiful things that are happening. Yeah, now we're waiting on Cash. I bet you he gets confirmed on the 17th.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Wouldn't surprise me. By the way, that Delta is, quite frankly, game over.
I know.
We'll cover that when Cash gets confirmed on the 17th.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Retired Green Beret Captain William English retells alleged supernatural experience in Laos.
Let's listen.
What we came on was a fully intact B-52 aircraft that looked like it had just been grabbed out of the sky and gently put down on the ground. There was no crash. There was no sign of a crash. There was no crash trail or anything like that, which we thought was pretty odd to begin with. And we managed to gain entry through one of the emergency escape hatches, where we found the entire crew still strapped in their seats.
Of course, the internet's going to be internety.
Oh, goodness.
What's up, Agent Smith?
Right.
Mutilated, like still strapped in their seats.
All right, I guess just give it like a couple seconds wherever you were able to get it to work again. And so what's up, Agent Smith? I know we haven't given Agent Smith a shout out in quite some time, but this sounds really interesting. Stop screwing around, man.
Yes. Okay, let's try this again.
Let's try it again.
Mutilated, like cattle. Tongues were missing. Closer examination showed that jaws were scraped clean. One of my guys.
The repeating video is annoying.
One of the bodies out of the seat and discovered that his rectum and genitals had been literally cored out like a biscuit cutter had been used. In the process of all of this, we had taken photographs of everything we found, and we got the hell out of there. In Saigon, we turned over all of our films, all the documents, maps, and everything else that we had collected. We were basically told you will die if you disclose any of this information. So keep your traps shut.
Thoughts?
All right. So this is one I've never heard about this before. I'm just now hearing about this for the first time. It's interesting. It's difficult to take these kinds of stories. To me, it's kind of like the story about the giant of Kandahar. Uh, just just kind of sketchy information. Could be true. Might, probably might not be true. Who knows? But I have an open mind to the possibility. It wouldn't surprise me. And what would these kinds of things tell us? So many more questions than answers, in which case it kind of, in my mind, gets put into well, if more information comes out, then we can figure out what this is about. But we have other stuff in the meantime. But I have a feeling that there is some kind of a communication here. Same way they tell us about aliens are real. So I don't know. I just keep my ear to the track on stuff like this.
That's all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
All right.
When God is about to bless you, you'll go through 3 stages. The first stage, you hit rock bottom. In life, there are moments of despair when it feels like things can't get any worse. But in those moments, God is near, waiting for you to turn to Him. The second stage, self-reflection. The key to getting out of this situation is understanding why you ended up there. God won't just pull you out because He's God and you asked, "Father, help me." No, He will pull you out when you realize, why am I here? What do I need to learn? What should I change? The third stage, tears and true repentance. This is the time of heartfelt repentance that will eventually bring you true joy. As it says in the book of Psalms, those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Later, you'll look back on this time, not with pain, but with gratitude, because God led you through this season, helped you heal, grow, and come closer to Him. We have content that helps you become 1% better each day.
Thoughts?
All right. So the process of awakening or coming to God, following that path to find our relationship with our creator, it goes through phases, and those phases sound about right. And I know that I have had lots of tears of repentance, and it was very healing, and I know that I have more still in my future. It's all about the work that we do, and it's something that we should rejoice in. And this is one of those things where we're supposed to count it all joy, as the Bible tells us. We count these trials and tribulations as joy because we recognize, or we should be recognizing, why we're going through this. What is it that we're supposed to be learning? Because once we've learned the lesson, then we can move on to the next challenge and test and benefits of continuing on our spiritual path. So let's not get stuck and recognize that this is all leading to something, and that we should follow that path with joy and happiness as much as we can, also with the same kind of questioning nature that we use to get us to see that everything was not what it seemed. Why you became a conspiracy theorist, basically.
Right.
Be a conspiracy theorist for yourself and ask yourself why these things are happening. And that's where some real growth can happen.
It really can. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
How about some Cliff?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
It's been a long time since we've had Cliff. I really like him.
Let's listen.
All right.
Let's be real clear. I worship a suffering God who became man in Jesus Christ, and He got the snot kicked out of Him, and He was nailed to a cross, and He died one of the most miserable deaths possible. And all of a sudden, the lights begin to go on. There is a God who is willing to suffer and enters this world filled with suffering. And on my behalf, He sacrifices His life on a cross. You see, man, when I stand before a statue of Buddha, it's incredible. There he is, a little smile across the face, arms folded, legs crossed. But then I stand before the cross, And I see a God who became a human being and got the snot kicked out of him. He sacrifices his life, and he goes through the hell of the cross, so I don't have to go to hell. Instead, I can go to heaven. And I can promise you, my knees begin to shake. Now, I don't know what kind of life you live, but I can promise you my life has a lot of good in it. Thank you, Lord. And it's got a boatload of suffering in it. And I can connect with a suffering Savior, Jesus Christ.
Thoughts?
So, the suffering Savior, I really love that. And again, Cliff is another one of those people that really knows how to help people get it figured out. Yeah, he makes it make sense. And that is one of the reasons why I do prefer Jesus as my savior, as opposed to not saying that the Buddhas or that Marcus Aurelius wasn't, a philosopher in their own right, and that I'm not saying that God didn't speak through them as well, but I believe that the truly divine Son of God is Jesus Christ. And why do I believe that? Because he sacrificed everything. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor. Buddha, he started out in wealth and chose to give it up so that way he could find the enlightenment. And I think that that's great. And they didn't have Jesus, so they had to figure it out in like Plato. Name a philosopher, right? And all of those philosophers are great, but Jesus is the one who suffered, and he suffered like a human, and he suffered for us to give us that chance, and to say that if God is going to come down here and suffer, then what makes me think that I'm not going to suffer?
Exactly.
And that suffering that we go through is for our benefit. That's the hard part to figure out. So we have to rejoice in our suffering.
That's why we're supposed to count it all joy.
Count it all joy. Because I know that my life has been a lot easier than so many of those who have carried a cross in their life.
Yes.
I know all the apostles went through so much more than I ever did. So I know that, yeah, I need to shut my yap
Yeah.
when it comes to complaining about how bad things get. And we should be reminded of that as well. And if nothing else, our Savior, if you do truly believe in Jesus, when you think you've had it bad, just remember how bad he had it first. And then just get it into perspective and try to figure out what it is that we're supposed to be learning.
Yeah. Exactly. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's listen.
All righty.
Where there is no hope, it is incumbent on us to invent it.
All right.
So, that hope, well, it's easy to run to the cross. That creates a lot of hope for me. It gives me that strength when I feel like things are wrong. It's whenever we are in that negative vibrational frequency, it's nobody else's job to make us in a better mood, and other people can't put us in a better mood if we choose not to. We need to make that hope for ourselves. And the best way to make that hope is to turn to God. How fast can you run to the cross? When you run to the cross, it makes so many other things clear in life. And it can also help us get to the business of what we're supposed to be doing in life. That learning. Again, rabbi means teacher. And he's teaching us about the schoolhouse of life. That is Earth, the snow globe we live in. Right? So what do? Well, we need to be that light for the world around us. And the only way we can be that light for the world around us is to embody the spirit that Jesus wanted us to embody. So we make sure that we are that light, so that way other people can have hope. But if we're not working on the hope within ourselves and in our own lives, then how are we supposed to help anybody else? And it's not to beat yourself down and say, I should be in a better mood. That's never going to help anything out. So what do? We have to find that real hope. And the only way for me, the best I've been able to figure out, is turn to Jesus. Thoughts?
I mean, really, it is because as much as it may seem unfair, people say all the time, well, it's just not fair, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Think about the growth that occurs every single time you go through something. And not only that, it helps with your testimony, and your testimony, even if it helps one person, that is a win.
Yes, it is. Very well said. Okay, it's been kind of a Monday day for us, and that pretty much brings us to an end this evening.
Yes.
Hopefully, actually, I know tomorrow's going to be significantly better today. So thank you for sticking around with us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the same time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net. Told you it's like a Monday today.
Yeah. And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you're our family. We know you love to push buttons, so go over there and clickety click. Hey, Michelle, so glad you're here.
Thanks for showing up, everybody. We do truly appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I hope and pray each and every one of you has a great night, and be safe, each and every one of you. We love you all. God bless.